the nice shiny shit we've stolen. I actually had no idea that they'd made God of War so family friendly. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's quite an old-fashioned view, but I'm going to say it anyway. As many people have said before, it's a bit fucking ridiculous when you have a video game where you go around smashing people's fucking heads in, but people remove the tits because they think, oh, that's offensive. It's like, come on, I mean, what's worse? In the grand scheme of things, it's kind of like, so what you're saying is tits are wrong, but violence is right. Do you know what I mean? If you can have a game where you can kill and murder people and cut people's heads off with fucking axes, what's a couple of tits? Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, it's a very peculiar attitude if you really look at it. You know, it's like, it's okay for kids to commit wanton acts of violence, but we don't want children looking at boobs. That's amoral. So what the fuck? The keyboard is blue switches. Oh yeah, I have two mechanical keyboards here. One's clicky and the other one is not clicky, but I do have a bit of a tendency. To hit the keys a little bit too hard. We're gonna do some book learning. Geordie says, mate, I'll say, no, English skills are great, man. I mean, they have sex, but they don't share the dick or stuff. Isn't that what movies do? Yeah, that kind of conveniently placed blankets and all the rest of it. Yeah, I actually like the act. I mean, I like the actor who does the voice of Kratos in the new game. Is it Christopher Judge? Because at the risk of sounding like a nerd, I do like the old Stargate TV shows. But I couldn't comment on whether he's good for the franchise because I never played the old God of War games, and I think if you played those games, you're going to have a very different opinion on the whole affair. Yeah, more boobs, less violence. That's what we need. Yeah, I think France has a very different attitude. I think France, I don't care. I mean, it's funny. France have a very relaxed attitude in the right way. Do you know what I mean? It's like they give much less of a shit about, you know, if you know, teenagers are drinking or, you know, nudity. They just don't, you know, they don't care. They're more concerned about things like violence, and I think it's a very sensible attitude. Let's have a quick go at gambling. Yeah, I actually got a couple of the Mount and Blade games. I've just never got around to actually playing them because I'm
feeling lucky today. How about you?
I'm too busy buying games from bloody Steam sales, £2. Oh, fuck it. No, I'm going to halve that bet. Right, this is why you don't gamble, guys. Yeah, I mean, I think they probably had Christopher Judge because he's got a good voice. Whether he's right, I don't think he's identifiable as black from his voice, but I think that was probably just because they thought it would be easier to promote because he's famous. But I'm with you with the fake diversity. I mean, you saw my video on Battlefield 5. Although someone put in the comments today that it's actually worse than I said. Because you can actually, they've introduced ethnic diversity for the Nazis in online PvP, so you can end up with some very weird situations indeed. I shouldn't have held that particular dice, but there you go. The way the dice works is you're trying to reach 2,000 before the other guy. You get 100 points for a 1. You get...
That's it.
50 points for a 5. And you get 10 times the amount of a triple.
Jesus, what do I have to do to get a drink here?
But every time you roll, you must score something. If you roll and you don't get anything at all, you bust. And then it's the other person's go. So you're kind of balancing, trying to get points with not going bust. So there, if I keep that, I get 50 points. So I'm going to keep that, and I'm going to roll again because I've got 5 chances to roll something. So that's good odds. I'm going to keep that for 100 and roll again. And I bust. No, I haven't bust. Ah, right. I'm going to keep these for 200 and I'm going to call it quit. I'm going to hold on that. It's a tiny little... It's got blackjack elements with the hold and the bust thing.
Hey, I'm dying of thirst here.
You can get these dice around the game. See, so I can hold that, hold that, hold that. That's 1,000. Hold that, hold that. Now I've won, but I'm not going to roll again. I'm gonna hold on that, and I've won. There you go. But around the map there are these bent dice you can get, and you want to start collecting the bent dice because when you've got like 6 bent dice, you just slaughter everybody all the time. Right. Where's the next quest? I'd say we... Yes, mate, 21 kiloton on YouTube. In fact, I mainly do YouTube. I have really sort of just started... Well, I said just started, but... I've just started doing regular streaming. I really enjoy doing both. Making the videos is very, very time consuming. So I'm trying to do a bit of both. But yeah, I did recently make a video about Battlefield 5, which is a franchise that I love. But Battlefield, I feel Battlefield's losing its way. And now with the latest game, I think it's all getting totally overrun with SJW culture. The gameplay trailer was just the trailer for the game was fucking ridiculous. It was like they tried to cram an entire fucking battlefield into the space of like 100 square meters. Oh fuck me, I'm too late. I think I'm too late for a bed. Fuck it. I think there's a bed round here. Yeah, it's getting silly now. Right, thank you, Carrot, for staving off my hunger. Now, if I'd been fucking smart, I would have thought about this before I headed up here. Yeah, I just used to totally love Battlefield, and I had progressively worse and worse experiences of the game. And then, was it Battlefield 4? I experienced a huge server fiasco. Pretty sure it was Battlefield 4, where the servers didn't work. For 3 months, the servers were constantly resetting and fucked, and they were doing really nothing, very little about it. And there were like no refunds and stuff. And that's when I first started to get a bit suspicious. Like, hang on, are these guys taking a piss? And then I found out that they had basically released the game to beat the Call of Duty release date. So it was like they released a game they knew that was broken because they just wanted the sales. So they released it completely fucked, knowing people would rent servers, knowing things wouldn't fucking work, knowing everyone would lose their money, but they just wanted to cash in before Call of Duty. And that's when I first started to go, hang on, I'm blindly trusting these guys. And DICE is a great studio, but can we really trust EA? And obviously the answer is no, we can't. And me and some mates, we lost a lot of money on Battlefield 4. We hired a lot of servers, and they just kept basically crashing and resetting all of the settings, and then it would take hours and hours and hours to set them up, and then they'd run for about 3 to 6 hours and then fall over again. Fuck, I'm just gonna have to wait on the fucking horse for a few hours and then sleep, get some quick sleep in the morning. But yeah, now I just think it's just trying to be Call of fucking Duty. It's trying to go head to head with Call of Duty, and that's not why people play Battlefield. And also, I think they're trying to piss off their regular fans. They know they get policed. They know that, you know, the regular fans want one thing and they want to market something else. So I think they're actually trying to drive away some of their diehard fans, because their attitude is, if they're going to sit here and complain, fuck them. Let's just push them away. Someone asked about Fallout 76, I think. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt because I like Bethesda. Bethesda are a company I rate very highly. The only thing that they've done that I'm not a fan of is their bloody mod shop, or whatever they call it. Now they're trying to do paid mods, and I don't like that because the modding community is fantastic. So I feel that's just a bit of a cheap shot. So with the exception of the Fallout 4 in-game store, Bethesda, you know, I think they're a good company. Bethesda and Bethesda Game Studios. So I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. I'm not convinced, and I'm not super excited, but I have a lot of friends who really are. And I'm actually looking forward to playing the game with people I know. But yeah.
I'm looking for a fellow who lives here, but I don't know his name. Do you know anyone with a limp?
That'll be Lubosh. Gallows bait if I ever saw one. His place is at the end of the village.
Sometimes games surprise you, do you know what I mean?
God bless.
I want to rent a room, you silly.
Goodbye.
So yeah, who fucking knows? I'm actually just gonna eat, and then I'm gonna save your snaps. Go and find Lubosh. Yeah, you know, sometimes, you know, you get hyped for a game and it turns out to be a complete dogshit sandwich, and sometimes you're not hyped for a game and your expectations mean you enjoy it all the more. So I don't mind the fact that I'm not super hyped about it. We'll see. I think, you know, I think Fallout 76 is gonna be what it is, and by that I mean, it entirely depends on how they balance it, how much griefing there is, and what people do, because they can decide it how they fucking like. It's all going to be down to how people actually play it, and if they can design the most beautiful game in the world, but if tons of non-Fallout people flock to Fallout 76 because they're like, hey, let's go and grief the PvEers, then it's going to turn into a fucking car crash.
Move along, citizens. Move along. There's nothing to see here.
Yeah, I think, you know, I think most games it's like you like them or you don't. It's there's certain types of game that you like, and I think Fallout 4 is not for everybody.
This is all I need.
Just like there'll be people who like 76 who don't like normal Fallout.
That might not be necessary.
Who are you?
I'm Henry of Skalitz, in the service of Hanish's Captain Bernard. I'm investigating the attack at Neuhof, and I think this could be related.
Well, I'm the bailiff of Auschwitz. And I say we don't want any of that kind of trouble around here. What makes you think this has anything to do with Neuhof?
One of the folk at the stud farm recognized someone from Auschwitz among the bandits.
We have no bandits or murderers around here.
Really? They say he had a limp?
Shit. Well, allow me to introduce you to Limpy Lubosh.
One way to lose weight.
Or all that's left of him.
But regarding the obsession with Nazis, I'm good and evil. I just think it's the lazy choice. It's difficult to tell good stories,
my hands and welcome to it.
You know, with real villains and bad guys, because the world's quite complex. And by latching on to World War II Nazis and making them the bad guys, it's the easy choice, isn't it? It's like, you know what I mean? It's like they're just the easy target. Because no one, you know, there's no ambiguity, there's no grey area. It's like if you say Nazis are bad, no one's going to complain. You're not going to piss anybody off.
Who was Limpy?
And
a poor crook.
You know, it's the lazy, easy, uncontroversial bad guy to have in your video game. But it's, you know, it's 2018. These days, I don't think people need to be told that Nazis are bad. Do you know what I mean? I think everybody's got the memo. But you know,
how come he limped?
He got that from some villainy or brawler.
When there's lots of money at stake, people want to go for the easy option. They don't want to risk being controversial. Well, a lot of game companies don't want to risk being controversial.
The last few days he didn't go anywhere. He was home the whole time. But he always kept everyone in the village at arm's length.
Did he have any kith or kin in the village?
None. A loner he was. I don't know the last time I saw him with anyone.
Do you happen to know where he was on the night of the Neuhof raid?
I've no idea. He kept his distance from other folk, so you never knew if he was away or holed up at home.
When did you find the body? And did anyone see anything?
Just now. And nobody saw or heard anything. I don't know how they could gut him like that without someone hearing him scream.
Another thing about Lubosh.
I've exhausted that chat option.
I'm honoured that a knight such as you takes an interest in me.
I've come in the name of Sir Hanish of Lipa. I'm investigating the massacre in Neuhof, and now a murder here as well. Can I ask you a few questions?
Of course. Ask away.
That man Lubosh who was murdered, what was he like?
He was a drunk who was always looking for a fight. Nobody liked him much, but I wouldn't wish an end like that on any man.
Have you noticed anything suspicious recently?
Well, now I think of it, I hadn't seen him around for a while. No idea where he was skulking.
Do you know what Lubosh was doing the day Neuhof was raided?
Not a clue.
Do you know anyone Lubosh used to spend time with? Relatives or friends?
He was a loner. He didn't even have any mates in the tavern.
That's all. Thank you.
I'll tell you what, they certainly knew how to teach somebody a fucking lesson in the Middle Ages. I mean, that is...
What's this?
That's a piece of work.
Looks like someone's hit him very hard on the head. Could they have bludgeoned him to death and then gutted him? That would explain why he didn't scream. Judas? Looks like this is meant to be a warning. But for who? And why? Maybe the gang had a falling out. But a bandit who knows how to write isn't something you see every day. What's this? Looks like someone's hit him very hard on the head. Could they have bludgeoned him to death and then gutted him? That would explain why he didn't scream.
To go to the elite population wipeout thing, I honestly don't think they are planning to wipe people out, because I think the people in power like having people to profit from. There you go, something to it. After a good disemboweling, nothing better than some stew. No, I mean, I think... Right, I don't want to get caught doing this. I mean, I think a lot of the weird stuff going on in the world regarding health is just because we're polluting everything. I mean, as well, birth control pill means there's a lot of hormones and shit like that getting into the water supply. Lots of... I think it's...
A bed. A bed.
Yeah, I think a lot of the weirdness going on is just pollution and us crapping up the world. But yeah, I don't think the elites actually are planning to knock off the world's population. I think you know, as far as they're concerned, the more plebs there are around, there's more people there are to profiteer off. Yeah, oh, there's a long it's a long history of people selling stuff that they don't use. I mean, like I saw this documentary once about the tobacco industry, and they were like interviewing lots of people, and then they were going, "But do you smoke?" And there are all these people who work for tobacco companies who are like, "No, I don't actually smoke." So I mean, they clearly knew it was bad, but they're quite happy to sell it. One sec. I just said... Time for a fight. Motherfucker. I'll tell you what, if you're gonna box.
Alright, you win. I surrender.
If you're gonna box, wear metal gloves.
What is it?
Yeah, I mean, I think populations balance themselves. Honestly, I think
Please.
it's like when you like find these, they find these huge cities in South American jungle, and it's like they realise like 500,000 people lived there, and then at some point, you know, hundreds or 1,000 years ago, everybody just fucking half of them died and everyone else fucked off.
No excuses.
I think if populations expand too much, then they eventually will collapse. I mean, look at Easter Island.
Yes, sir.
You really let him go? Just like that? And did you get the loot back?
I did. I have it here.
Thank you. That thieving magpie. You can't trust anyone these days. And just so you know, I'm no pinch purse. Here's a small reward.
Thanks.
I hear you were at the Neuhof stud farm when all the slaughter went on.
Yeah, I think the changes with amphibians are probably a lot more to do with just the amount of pollution and also the amount of hormones in the water supply from the birth control pill. Because amphibians are used as like a guide, aren't they? Because they're like amphibians are like always the first species.
Takes an interest in me.
The first species to be affected by stuff like pollution and climate change.
Can I sleep here?
I suppose I could find something. For how long?
One night.
Just the one night?
Well, I'll definitely Google that afterwards.
Let's see your coin first. These are harsh times.
There you are.
You all like it here. Like sleeping on a cloud it is. Farewell.
Where's my bed? And how well fed am I? Yeah, I won't lie. I'm a bit suspicious of Alex Jones. He does have a tendency to join dots from all over the place to sort of service his narrative, even though they might not make sense, if you know what I mean. I mean, there's some news guys who are in that what's the word? Who are fairly left of. Who are fairly left field, who I will listen to, but yeah, I take Alex Jones. I do find he reaches a lot. Just gonna see which one of these is nicer. There you go. Yeah, I mean, Geordie makes an interesting point. I mean, I think one thing is definitely for sure. Whatever is going on in the world, what we read in the newspapers is not it. And that's something you always have to filter. It's like when you read these documents that get declassified 50 years later, and then you compare what people were saying in the newspapers to what was really going on, you realise we only ever get told half the story. Right, I'm going to get an hour's kip to save. Who's a Zionist? Ah, right. Right, where am I going to go? I'm not going to do that. Actually, in fact... Right, I'm going to head over to the bars because I think there's a tip there. Did anyone see where the brothel was?
Aren't you meant to be in the monastery?
A monk's got no business out.
I would say one thing about this outfit is that you will get quite persistently harassed to go back to the fucking monastery. You've been warned. South and to the left
What happened to your vows?
is the bath. Thank you, mate. Thank you, Cyber Ghost. Ah, steam. That's a good sign. No, Tanner's. Right, let's have a look.
Yeah!
Right, we've got the tanners. Butchers. I'm sure there's some prostitutes here because I'm sure... Right, that's the fucking stables. I'm sure they're over here somewhere. Kit, how you doing, mate? I'm desperately trying to find the baths. You'd think it would be easy finding 50 prostitutes in a village. Yeah, it's got to be here. I'm really looking forward to hardcore mode. I have to admit. Ah, it's had it there. I'm really looking forward to hardcore mode. I think it could be a real ball breaker. A real ball breaker. What time is it? They're open yet. Yeah, I'm very curious to see how it pans out when you've like turned on all of the difficulty settings.
Aren't you meant to be in the monastery, lad?
Ah, stop. I got that a bit late. Yeah, it's a bit of a fucking delay. Right. Yeah, I think if I speak to the right people, I think they're going to send me to the brothel to go and speak to a certain person. Talk to this villager.
I've come in the name of Sir Hanush of Lipa. I'm investigating the massacre in Neuhof, and now a murder here as well.
That's a good point, Geordie.
Of course. Ask away.
Do you know anyone Lubosh used to spend time with? Relatives or friends?
He was a loner. He didn't even have any mates in the tavern.
That's all. Thank you.
Right, let's have a little look. There's tents here, tents here. And I'm going to go and ask... Did I ask the barman?
I've come in the name of Sir Hanush of Lipa. I'm investigating the massacre in Neuhof, and now a murder here as well. Can I ask you a few questions?
I don't know how I can help you, but ask if you must.
Who was this Lubosh who was...
You could see at first glance he was no...
Have you noticed anything suspicious?
There wasn't sight or sound of him for a long time, and then yesterday he turned up at the church and even talked to the parish priest. I never saw him do that before. Probably had a bad conscience.
Ah, yeah. Talk to the priest.
Do you know what Lubosh was doing?
I don't...
Do you know who Lubosh used...
As far as I know, he had nobody at all in this world.
That's all.
Goodbye.
Yeah, I'd say if you're streaming or talking on comms, mechanical keyboards do click more. They do give audible feedback, but now I've got a mechanical keyboard, I would never go back. I can say it honestly. It's like once I got a mechanical keyboard, that was it. I would also say, once you get a mechanical keyboard, you're not going to be buying many keyboards because they last so much longer. The thing with mechanical keyboards is if you spill shit in them or whatever, you just clean them out, and they're physical keys.
So you just in the name of Sahanish of Lipa, investigating
you just
Neuhof, which seems to be
fix them,
murder here. Can I ask you
clean them up, and they're good to go again for another
Sir Hanush is
500,000 clicks. Whereas with non-mechanical keyboards, I mean, I've like spilt one drink into those, and they've just been fucked.
Will be cleared up quickly.
Particularly something like
what was he like?
Coke or energy drink can destroy those keyboards.
Simple, rough fellow, but at heart, I don't think he was such a bad person.
So yeah, grats, mate. I hope you like it.
Did you notice anything suspicious recently?
My child, all sorts of suspicious things have been going on recently. People like Lubosh don't know what to do about it, and sometimes they do stupid things.
That's really not a lot of help to me, Father.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Do you know what Lubosh was doing on the day Neuhof was raided?
Unfortunately, I do know. And I'd like to help you with your investigation, but I can't.
What?
I'm bound by certain vows that forbid me to tell you.
Vows more important than catching dangerous murderers?
There are laws of God above the laws of man, son. And one of those is the sanctity of the confessional.
Father, surely you can't be serious. There must be situations in which you can make an exception.
There are things that apply always, no matter what the circumstances, and this is one of them.
But Lubosh is dead. You can't hurt him, but if you don't tell me, more innocent people may die.
If I told you, I would be betraying a vow.
If your keyboard, if you like your keyboard and it works absolutely fine and it's lasting forever, stick with it, mate. I mean,
worse than the death of innocent Christians.
I would always say if someone's thinking of getting a new keyboard,
no one escapes.
They should go with a mechanical one because they last so much longer. And
Father, Lubosh was my only lead to the Neuhof raiders. Only he could tell me who was responsible for that massacre. If I don't find out who
get much better performance.
It will probably happen again.
But that said, I played MMOs for years on like a £2 mouse, and it was a really good mouse that lasted forever, and it was like one of those cheapies that comes with your computer. But it worked, and it was comfortable, and I literally used that until the buttons wore out. You know, if it works for you, it works. But yeah, if you need to buy a replacement, yeah, an good anti-ghosting mechanical keyboard will save you money. Because, you know, they just last so long. Christ, the one I've got, the Steel Series one, it's discontinued now. I wish I'd bought spares. Right. I'm going to just head down there to Limpy Lubosh. Find out more about Limpy Lubosh. If for no other reason, just to satisfy my curiosity about where the brothel is. Does anybody know, do I have to go and meet this guy tonight? Don't really know about whether to do that quest. on stream because I don't want to ruin that quest for people.
What's that? Who's there?
Still use the old thumb, trackball, mouse and Logitech. I have to buy them on eBay though. Yeah, I've actually considered going on eBay to buy one of these SteelSeries keyboards. Ah, is this it here? Yeah, I'm actually going to have a little think about whether or not to do this quest. Whether to do this quest on the stream, because I don't really want to spoil it for people. Right, yeah, I think it's next one up. I think I might be confusing this. I might be confusing this town with another town, because there's two towns I'm always getting mixed up. But yeah, Geordie, the priest, I'm wondering, do I have to meet him tonight or can I meet him any night? Right, I've spent far too much time just riding around in circles. I am actually going to go and save. And call it a night.
What happened to your vows?
Geordie says if you don't, you will fail. It's a very interesting mission. Yeah, I'm actually going to wrap it for tonight because I don't know whether to do this mission. I'm going to think about whether to do this mission on stream or not, because it's such a spoiler mission. So I'm gonna get a second opinion on that and call it for tonight. Right, well, thank you very much, guys. I'm gonna call it there and have a little think about whether or not to stream this mission or whether to edit it out, just because, yeah, it is. Yeah, it's potentially chock full of spoilers, as some of you are aware. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. I'll be chopping this one up and sticking it up on the YouTube channel. But yeah, I will be doing some Fallout 4 tomorrow as well. Right, thanks. See you later, guys.